Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Wonderful. Okay, now I must thank the lecturer because he took everything in its stage and really simplified what would ordinarily perhaps be a very difficult topic if he was trying to be politically correct. And I found that he's my type of a lecturer. He wasn't trying to be politically correct, maybe because he doesn't live with us in Nigeria. So maybe that's part of some of the solutions. But definitely, I was very impressed. And I was taking notes when he was giving the lecture for the simple fact that I got the paper this morning and I thought, well, you know what, let me just wait and take it in as it is being given to me. And I think it will be better that way. Now, very quickly, I think that I will end up sharing, going in the direction of a word I learned this week during the funeral of Congressman John Lewis. And I love the word because I came to realize that that is actually what I have been doing for the past 20 something odd years, getting into good trouble. And so I think that I'm going to get into good trouble now. National integration, federal character, which then therefore when it was set up, and even the youth service were all put together. The national the federal character was first brought on board in the 1979 Constitution. And horrifically, it never was introduced properly, if you like, or inaugurated until 2002, that's 23 odd years. So it gave me the acceptance immediately that even though the Constitution was put together at that time, it was, if it was implemented, it was implemented to for a section of Nigeria, and that, of course, brings us to the sentiments of ethnic nationality. Now, um, we have agreed, and the Prof has also mentioned it, and a lot of us know that there is about 250, some say 250, some say 350, but I know that in the Niger Delta of the 6 states of the Bray states, we have many ethnic nationalities. In Delta states, we have ethnic nationalities. It is only in Bayelsa state that the state is only of Ijaw people. But the other 5 states, we have different ethnic nationalities. So for me, I've always known that I refuse, and it's not in me. I cannot, for any reason, whether for Nigeria or for whatever, disregard my ethnic nationality. And I think that this is why we're finding it difficult to accept that you cannot be patriotic to Nigeria if you are not, first of all, patriotic to Yoruba, for instance. If you're a Yoruba man, you have to be a patriotic Yoruba man to the Yoruba people, and so on and so forth. So if I have never keyed into the idea that to be a good Nigerian, that I have to be a bad Ijaw person. You have to, first of all, be the best Ijaw person you can be, and before you can become a good Nigerian and effect a patriotic Nigerian. Now, the issue of federal character was put together so that the civil service, so that our development, our economy, our investment, security, employment, healthcare can actually be delivered. All of these things can be delivered on the basis of equity and justice, on the basis of equality, not from where you come from, because we're all getting the same quality care, we're all getting the same quality education. But now, quickly, if I even touch on the issue of education, I saw the Civil War. I was in my teenage years when the Civil War of Nigeria kicked off for the 3 years, and I know what I went through. And nobody can teach me about the Civil War or about what war is like. But there are some people in Nigeria that were born at the same age with me, but were not in the then eastern part or in the then River State, so cannot even begin to imagine what people like us went through during the Civil War. For me, those issues, like resolving the issue of the vanquished, or there is no conqueror, there is no vanquished, there is no, that's not true. There was a war, somebody lost the war and somebody won the war. So to turn around and say that those issues should be swept under the carpet, where a man who had even my family members, all of us had to start all over again with 20 pounds, whether you had hidden 2 million under your bed and it was eaten up during the war, and you had only 500,000 left, you were left with 20 pounds. So there were people that lost everything during the war, and they were not in Eastern region. Now, definitely the education is lopsided. When you have to say that somebody in Enugu State cannot access entrance of a university or a secondary school unless their cutoff mark is 100 and something. And yet the same admission says that somebody from Kano State or somebody from Zamfara State can come with a lower cutoff mark. That's already discrimination right there. That is already nepotism right there. That is already, you can attribute anything you want to attribute to it. You can even look at it from the religious background if you like. So these are the issues that we must address. We know the problem. I knew the problem from when I was brought back to Nigeria at such a tender age, as I said, because those things, those experiences are relative to what we're discussing in Nigeria today and how we want to fix Nigeria, and not whether you have 10 PhD or what. It is what your experience are and what you want to happen in Nigeria. Now, there is no justice and equity in Nigeria, and until we begin to find the justice and equity that works for us, we have 36 states in Nigeria, and we have 6 zones, political zones for now. Somebody may come along tomorrow and change it. Abacha brought about the zones. Somebody may come along and change it, but until then, that is what we have. So if we really, truly want to fix Nigeria, we must start, in my opinion, we must start to begin the fixing of Nigeria from where we are and from whom we are. Now, we have 36 states, we have 6 zones. We have to decide whether the 36 states must be run as a federation, so that you have the issue of employment, healthcare, roads, social welfare, all of those things to be the responsibility of the state. Now, you can't do that when the federal government is taking 100% of what is coming from River State and taking it to Abuja and sharing it. For instance, the Constitution, everybody agrees, is a problem. But how do we fix it? Well, let me share with you how I believe, looking at it from my point, how we can fix it. Now, if you are taking 100% of what is coming to me, and then a state like Kano has 44 local governments, and a state like River State, where I come from, has 23 local governments. Kano, when they share allocation every month of what they've taken from River State, Kano is going to take 44 states. Why should Kano have 44 states? Oh yes, because they say Kano is larger. Who told you that? When was the last census? How do we know that Kano is still the number that it was when they did the last census, and that River State is still what it was? And local governments are created, we're told, by numbers. Are people not being born in River State or Bayelsa State that has 8 local government. So these are the issues that that we have to tackle. Nigeria really, we don't want to say it, but Nigeria is a very discriminatory country. And if we say we're not discriminatory, then we must allow a system where we keep what we have. A few weeks ago, it's official that they can explore and mine for gold in any part of the north where they have solid minerals. But that does not apply to Rivers State. There is no license for people to refine oil, and we've proved that we can refine kerosene. Our people have proved that they have this capacity. Now, when you go into the when you look at this imbalance, then if you say that I should not identify myself as an Ijaw person, what then do I identify myself in as Nigerian? No, there is nothing right now in Nigeria that is working in the favor of my people. So I refuse to identify myself first as a Nigerian. I am an Ijaw person first, and then a Nigerian, because whether I'm a Nigerian or not, I will remain an Ijaw person. This is our realities, and we have to find solutions to that. Now, the colonial government left a system for us. We must get rid of those things that don't work in the system that the colonial government have left for us. We cannot continue to work with those things, those methods, and begin and say that that is what we are used to. No, we must change those things that that don't work. Now, the unity of Nigeria is not encouraged by these highlights facts that the lecturer have told us. Hopefully, all of us are also aware of what he has said. Now, to me, ethnicity is a very passionate concept because that is who I am. I speak my language, and a second language I speak in Nigeria is Igbo. Any other person that speaks besides me, I can assume that he's planning to sell me. And so the thing, therefore, is that we have to first be sensitive to each other's needs. We don't necessarily have to be the person that will solve the other person's needs. Nigeria is not set up like that. But we have to respect that we are all in Nigeria. And we have to accept that what I have may not be what you have. But it doesn't give you the right to sit somewhere, hold a press conference, and keep shouting, the oil in Bayelsa, it belongs to this state. The oil in Bayelsa belongs to somewhere in the north. And you continuously agitate and irritate people. Now, we're coming up to 2023. And unless you block your ears with cotton wool, you keep hearing. 1 minute, the North will retain power. The next minute, the North will not retain power. And then the people are tossed backwards and forward. Look, Obasanjo did 8 years as a Yoruba man of the South. Yaradua did 207 to 209 when unfortunately he died. And Jonathan took over. Jonathan finished Yaradua's tenure. He did it. Who voted for Jonathan in 2010? Nobody. So he was finishing his boss's tenure as per the constitution. And yet people are counting it for the South-South. For me, I don't really care. I don't even want the South-South to run for presidency anymore. I want us to have control, full access to our resources. Let us agree what tax we're going to pay to federal government. That is what is of the greatest importance to me. The governors are the ones that should be responsible for the state. Federal government has no business in building a road in Abia State. It should be the problem of Abia governor. But how can Abia governor build a road in Abia State if he's either misusing the money or the money is not enough? And yes, when people talk about corruption, when you say you're fighting corruption and the people that are corrupt, all of them are from one side of Nigeria. That in itself is a lie. Every part of Nigeria is corrupt, every part. I can only speak for myself. I'm not a politician. I've not been in politics. I'm not corrupt. I don't cheat people when I sell them things. I'm not corrupt. But people who have access to our money, nobody knows how much is. As I'm talking to you now, I just heard that for about 2 or 3 months, the governors of the South South have not received their federal constitutional allocation. I'm wondering, why are they not talking? There must be a reason why this information is not coming out. And why is the federal government holding onto these funds that that belong to the people of the Niger Delta? We have the corruption of the issue of NDDC. This NDDC corruption started in 2020 when they inaugurated it. So if you want to find out, you must go that far back. I don't care if my father was there. You must go back that far back. Then you have a situation of Mago, who was going around identifying thieves and people who have looted, and yet he also now finds himself in that mess. And where is this going? And then you have the corruption issue of the 9mobile issue. How did it come about? How did one person get to buy 9mobile? And we're told how it happened. It may not be true, but we need to find out, is it true or is it not true? So the Constitution holds us back, everybody one way or the other. But I believe mainly it holds back the southern part of Nigeria. Well, to continue to highlight the governance of Jonathan is the same constitution that Jonathan was working under. Now, what is funny is this: my own people, the Ijos and the Niger Delta people, have a lot they have to say against Jonathan. And I don't disagree with them, but I don't talk like that. Now, the reason why I'm raising this is this. At the time that Jonathan was there, if he had said to Julius Berger, I command you this morning, move to East-West Road, build that road. If you don't finish building it, don't come back. If he had done that, it's the same people that will get up and shout, how can he do that? And yet it's exactly the same thing that we accuse Jonathan of not doing for his people, that we are now saying that Buhari is doing for his people. So what exactly is it that Nigerians are saying that they want? The educated ones, the intellectual ones, have to be able to let the people they claim that are not educated and intellectual to understand the solution. And if they don't, then the people who are uneducated and don't have the intellect will have to take their life in their hands and begin to do what they must do. Where did we come from that we're piping gas from Niger Delta all the way up to Kogi, into Kaduna and into Kano? There is a plan to do the same all the way to Algeria. There is this plan to do, Dangote has 650 barrels per day capacity of refinery in Lagos, not in Niger Delta. All the rights of economic development tells you that as much as you can, you stay close to where your raw material is. And then you now put the refinery in Lagos, and the raw material is in my backyard, and you're going to lay pipes, and I'm watching you. You're laying pipes to take my resources all the way to Lagos. And you think that even though people are not educated, when they see the pipes, they're not going to say, what is happening here and where is this going? No, it is about truth and justice and equity. We need to tell ourselves the truth. There is tribalism, there is nepotism, there is corruption in Nigeria. The people you're talking to today now, people like you, moderator, your age group that you're talking to, they were born into a Nigeria in which their parents were afraid, were fearful. People like Professor Wole Soyinka, they ran away because they were going to be killed. Why? So the people you are expecting to protest. I've organized protests all over Nigeria, in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in Bayelsa. The last one I did, I was beaten up in Bayelsa. Physically, I was attacked. Not by Fulani people, not by Yoruba people, not by Igbo people, by my own Ijaw people, because they didn't agree with me. What was I protesting for? I was saying that they had ceded 1,200 hectares of plush land. Bayelsa is just swampy. And the only land available was given to headsmen by the governor. And I said, no, don't. We don't have land in Bayelsa State. Thugs were sent to beat me up in broad daylight. This is the type of country we live in. This is the type of government that we have. The idea to change Nigeria must start at the roots, at the grassroots. We, the educated and intellectuals or whatever, must start. Is our responsibility, not the responsibility of the fisherman, not the responsibility of the man that they are giving the type of iron we used in secondary school to for his business to iron agbada and things like that. You know, that is no way going to improve anybody's life. And the people giving them these things, their children are being educated in all types of Ivy League universities and things, whether they qualify or not, I don't know, but they also were aware that Nigerians also donate 400 million to a particular university because their children graduated there. And the fisherman's child is going to graduate from where? You know, so the reality is that Nigeria is broken. Nigeria is, we can't even begin. This plaster that we're using to fix Nigeria won't work. Let us agree that the only way is let the states take responsibility. If you say you don't, let the states that agree on that work with that. Nigeria is a federation. Let it be a federalism. People are being killed in Kaduna. How does that unite us? The people that are being killed are Christians. How can that unite us? You know, so if we're not able to talk about that because we are afraid, what are we going to be able to fix in Nigeria? So when we start talking about fixing Nigeria, that we're trying to fix Nigeria, that Nigeria cannot break up. Why can Nigeria not break up? People were minding their own business when my mother's people came and fixed Nigeria the way they wanted to fix Nigeria and left us in the mess that they left us in. That mess is not working. Why can't we now, that if we say we're Nigerian, then we should try and fix Nigeria. But we should try and fix it from the perspective of Yoruba man. And one thing has always bothered me. When they created Northern Nigeria, Western Nigeria, and Eastern Nigeria, and now say that there are three major ethnic nationalities. You say, what? Three ethnic major nationalities? What about the other 300 or 250 that Professor has in his book? Who are they? Are they servants of those nationalities? You know, so already when you say there are three major nationalities, already you have discounted me. I'm not a nationality as far as Nigeria is concerned. And so when they fixed, they changed Nigeria, Northern Nigeria, West and East, where was South? Where is South? And who are the people that occupy the South of Nigeria? It is us, and yet we're not mentioned in the clarification of who is a Nigerian. You can't hear Southern Nigeria only when they are talking about Northern Nigeria, which is 19 states, and then Southern Nigeria, which is 17 states. So when they share allocation, the North is getting much more than the people who are actually producing the wealth. Kano does not produce oil or gas, and yet Kano gets more resources from oil and gas by local government allocation. These are not fair. And so if we're not going to address these issues, then I don't really believe that we are ready to keep Nigeria one. And if we're not ready to keep Nigeria one, then we must accept that we have a right to be able to go our separate ways. And whatever that means then let it be, because we cannot be in a worse off situation than we are right now. Thank you very much.
If we could give you a round of applause right now, we would do it, but our mics are muted. I want to thank you very much for your brutal honesty in this conversation here, Ms. Anku Briggs. Thank you so much. And now I see all your questions. I see the hands that have been raised. Daniel Jegede, I just want to acknowledge you. Ayola Olowun